What if a patient is not dying because of the infection, but because of their own immune system? A young boy, high fever, rapidly worsening condition, and despite treatment, his body seems to be burning from within. This is not just infection, this is a cytokine storm. Welcome to this session, The Boy Who Could Not Stop Burning. In this lecture, we will decode one of the most dangerous phenomena called the cytokine storm in the critical care. We will understand what triggers this uncontrolled immune system, how it leads to multi organ damage, and most importantly, how to recognize and manage it in exams and clinical practice. This is a must know topic for NEET PG, MBBS, and immunopharmacology because sometimes the biggest threat to the patient is their own defense system. So let's begin. Let's step into the case. A 19-year-old male, Ranjan Mehta, recently diagnosed with B cell ALL and just 12 days post CAR-T cell therapy. Now he presents with high grade fever for 6 days. But look at his vitals carefully. The temperature is 40.4 degrees Celsius. This is not just fever, this is hyperpyrexia. Blood pressure is 82 by 54 mmHg that clearly detects hypotension. SpO2 is 88% even on oxygen, significant desaturation. So, what do we have to do? A post immunotherapy patient with persistent fever and rapidly deteriorating vitals. This is not simple infection. This is a red flag scenario. The question is what is the driving this rapid deterioration in the sepsis or something more dangerous? Because in patients like this, one diagnosis you must never miss is cytokine release syndrome. Let's decode what really is happening inside the body. Biochemical clues. Now the labs start telling the real story. Look at this. CRP is 310 mg per liter. Normal is less than 10. This is massively elevated. But the real red flag. Ferritin is more than 12,000 ng per ml. This is not just inflammation and this is hyperferritinemia of extreme degree. And in exams and in real life, whenever you see ferritin in the thousands to tens of thousands, you should immediately start thinking of one thing: macrophage activation syndrome or a cytokine storm state. Why does this happen? Because activated immune cells, especially macrophages, start releasing huge amount of inflammatory mediators. Ferritin here is not just a marker, it is a signal of uncontrolled immune activation. So, now the picture is becoming clear. Persistent fever, hemodynamic instability, and sky high inflammatory markers. This is not routine sepsis, this is a hyperinflammatory crisis. Let's dive deeper into what's driving this storm. Now, the pressure is on. Rajan is crashing clinically, and this is where pharmacology becomes life saving. Option A: methylprednisolone, broad immunosuppression. Option B: tocilizumab, targeted IL 6 receptor blockade. Option C: anakinra, IL 1 receptor antagonist. But here's the key question: what is the primary cytokine driving this storm? In cytokine release syndrome after CAR-T therapy, IL-6 is the major culprit behind the fever, hypotension, capillary leak, and organ dysfunction. That's why tocilizumab becomes the first line targeted therapy in severe CRS. Pause the video and think like an intensive and you suppressing the entire immune system or blocking the exact inflammatory signal causing the collapse. This is the trap that catches a lot of students in exams and even clinicians under pressure. Your intrinsic says massive inflammation, give high dose steroids, and in inflammatory conditions, the logic is correct. But this is not a routine cytokine syndrome. This is a CAR-T therapy associated CRS. Here's the danger. High dose corticosteroids can induce apoptosis of the infused CAR-T cells themselves. In simple terms, you may shut down the patient's life saving engineered immunotherapy. You don't just suppress inflammation, you potentially erase the anti-cancer effect. And here's the another problem. This patient is already immunocompromised and likely neutropenic. Broad steroid induced immunosuppression can mask or worsen these secondary hospital acquired infections. That's why steroids are usually reserved for severe refractory cases or associated neurotoxicity, not the first reflex move. The smartest strategy is targeted cytokine blockade, not the immune system annihilation. Now, let's understand the full cytokine cascade because once you see the sequence, the treatment becomes obvious. Step 1 begins immediately after CAR-T infusion. The engineered T cells recognize and attack the tumor cells. Initially, this is exactly what we want, controlled immune activation. But then comes step 2, the amplification phase. Around days 4 to 7, massive IL-6 release occurs. Macrophages and immune cells begin flooding the circulation with the inflammatory cytokines. This is the turning point. The patient starts developing persistent fever, tachycardia, hypotension, and rising oxygen requirement. And if the cascade continues unchecked, the patient enters the emergency red zone. Step 3 is the systemic immune dysregulation. Capillary leak develops, tissues become hypoperfused, and multiple organs begin failing. Clinically, the progression is classic fever, then hypotension, then hypoxia. That's why IL-6 blockade with tocilizumab is so powerful. You are interpreting the amplifier before the entire inflammatory circuit spirals out of control. Now, here comes the hero of this case, tocilizumab. This monoclonal antibody specifically targets the IL-6 receptor, blocking both the soluble and membrane-bound forms. Remember, IL-6 is the key amplifier driving cytokine release syndrome. So, instead of shutting down the entire immune system, tocilizumab selectively interprets the dangerous inflammatory signal. And that's the brilliance of this therapy. It controls fever, hypertension, vascular leak, and systemic inflammation while preserving the activity of the CAR-T cells themselves. The anti-tumor response remains intact. That's why tocilizumab became the FDA-approved first-line therapy for severe CAR-T associated cytokine release syndrome. This is precision immunopharmacology in action, not blanket suppression, targeted cytokine blockade. And for exams, remember this high yield line: CAR-T therapy plus hypertension plus high ferritin plus IL-6 surge equals tocilizumab. Now, let's clinically grade the storm because treatment decisions depends on the severity. The ASTCT grading system is the standard framework used for the cytokine release syndrome. Grade 1 is isolated fever, no hypertension, no hypoxia. Grade 2 progresses to fluid responsive hypertension or mild oxygen requirement. But Ranjan is much sicker than that. His blood pressure is 82 over 54, which requires 6 liters of oxygen support. That places him in grade 3 CRS, severe cytokine release syndrome. And grade 3 is the critical threshold where immediate targeted therapy becomes mandatory. Why? Because patients progresses further into grade 4. They may require multiple vasopressors, mechanical ventilation, and aggressive ICU organ support. So, this slide teaches an important clinical principle. Don't just identify CRS, grade it rapidly because the grade determines urgency, escalation, ICU monitoring, and timing of tocilizumab administration. For example, remember this shortcut. This will help you in exams also. Fever alone equals to grade 1. Hypertension plus oxygen requirement equals severe CRS. Here is the high yield immunopharmacology matrix you need to remember for exams and clinical practice. Tocilizumab targets the IL-6 receptor and is the first line drug to grade 2 and 3 cytokine release syndrome because it controls the inflammation while preserving the CAR-T cell function. Anakinra blocks the IL-1 receptor and is especially useful when CRS overlaps with the LH or macrophage activation syndrome. Now, look at dexamethasone carefully. Steroids are powerful anti inflammatory agents, but they can suppress or even destroy CAR-T cell activity. That's why steroids are reserved mainly for refractory cases or severe grade 4 CRS. This table is the key exam takeaway. IL-6 blockade equals first line, IL-1 blockade for overlap syndromes, and steroids only with caution. This slide gives you the complete treatment algorithm for cytokine release syndrome after CAR-T therapy. Grade 1 CRS is usually managed conservatively. Provide supportive care, monitor vitals closely, and always rule out infection because sepsis can mimic cytokine storm. Once the patient progresses to grade 2 or grade 3, the first line treatment is Tocilizumab. This is the key pharmacology poll for exams. Target the IL-6 pathway early before the inflammatory cascade spirals out of control. If the patient does not improve within 8 to 12 hours, tocilizumab can be repeated with a maximum of 3 doses. Now comes the critical escalation point. In grade 4 or refractory CRS, you move into emergency rescue therapy with dexamethasone. At this stage, saving the patient's life becomes the priority even if some CAR-T cell activity is lost. So remember the protocol flow. Supportive care for grade 1, tocilizumab for grade 2 and 3, steroids only for refractory or life-threatening diseases. Now, let's talk about the ICU dosing parameters of tocilizumab, an important exam and clinical care slide. The standard dose is 8 mg per kg IV with a maximum single dose of 800 mg. If the patient response is inadequate, the dose can be repeated after 8 to 12 hours. In severe CRS, timing is critical because delayed cytokine control can rapidly lead to multi organ dysfunction. Here's the major clinical poll. Always draw blood cultures before administering tocilizumab. Why? Because severe sepsis and cytokine release syndrome can look almost identical. Fever, hypotension, hypoxia, and elevated inflammatory markers. If you suppress inflammation without ruling out infection, you may miss underlying bacterial sepsis. So, the key memory line is treat the storm but never forget the infection. And for exams, remember the classic dosing number 8 milligrams per kilogram IV, maximum 800 milligrams. This final high yield slide is all about the NEET PG exam approach to cytokine release syndrome. First, remember the trigger clue. A patient develops fever after immunotherapy or CAR-T therapy and ferritin shoots about 10,000. That should immediately make you think of severe CRS or HLH overlap syndrome. Next, identify the main villain in the pathway, IL-6. That's the cytokine driving the inflammatory storm, vascular leak, hypotension, and organ dysfunction. So, when the exam gives you hypotension plus fever after CAR-T therapy, the next best step is tocilizumab. This is the standard first-line targeted therapy because it blocks the IL-6 receptor while preserving the CAR-T function. Now, here comes the classic distractor in MCQs, corticosteroids. Examiners love placing steroids as an option, but unless the question specifically mentions grade 4 or refractory disease, avoid choosing steroids first. So, the rapid cell recall summary is post CRAT fever plus high ferritin equals CRS. IL-6 is the culprit, tocilizumab is the answer. Steroids are reserved for severe rescue situations only, and that's the complete immunopharmacology framework for cytokine release syndrome. Now you have built a very strong high yield flow for CART induced CRS and NEET PG revision. The sequence is clinically logical and exam oriented. So the first step is clinical deterioration decision point. Next is why steroids are dangerous initially. IL-6 cytokine cascade, then ASTCT grading, then tocilizumab mechanism, then drug comparison matrix, unified treatment algorithm, ICU dosing, NEET PG takeaway, and Golden Rule summary. So, the final slide is the tocilizumab first and steroids last. This is the Golden Rule of CRS. So, save the CART, save the patient. Thank you for learning with Anjali Met24. If this case helped you understanding the CART associated cytokine release syndrome, save this post for revision and share it with your study group. Remember the golden rule for NEET PG and clinical practice. Tocilizumab first, steroids last. Target the cytokine storm while protecting the CART cells. Follow at the Anjali Med for more high yield clinical pharmacology, immunology, and NEET PG integrated case discussions. See you in the next clinical challenge. Thank you.